Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A major police operation has led to the seizure of $500,000 worth of the drug ice at the Spirit of Tasmania dock. Police say 2 women have been charged after they allegedly discovered the illicit substance concealed under their clothing.
The secret weapon for detection, putting her nose to the test. A crucial part of a major drug bust unfolding in Devonport last night.
2 females were interdicted. They were detected by the drug dog, and as a result of a search, they were found to be in possession of more than 700 grams of methamphetamine, otherwise known as the street drug ice.
Police allege the Tasmanian passengers, aged 26 and 42, were carrying around $500,000 worth of the substance while trying to disembark the Spirit of Tasmania back from Victoria.
Those drugs found on those 2 females last night were found in their possession on their person. Yes, at this point we believe they were known to each other.
Police say the pair was screened during Operation Gateway, a joint mission between state and federal police and the Australian Border Force.
That operation is focused on air, sea and mail corridor control into the state, preventing illicit drugs being imported into Tasmania.
As well as passengers and their bags. Police say these detection dogs also screen vehicles, cargo and mail coming into Tasmania as part of the statewide operation.
We talk about 7,000 street deals for approximately 700 grams. So 7,000 street deals is a significant quantity. That's 7,000 deals out of the hands of family and friends and relatives.
Both women have been charged with trafficking in a controlled substance and will appear at Hobart Magistrates Court in February. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
As the University of Tasmania rolls out its plan to move campuses into our cities, it's today agreed to financially contribute to CBD infrastructure. In a unique deal, Hobart campuses will offer up money for the plan, but questions remain about whether a Launceston arrangement will be struck in the future.
Signing a historic deal between education and council. The University of Tasmania today agreeing to make a financial contribution to our city infrastructure.
We, unlike any other university, are paying equivalent of rates for where we are in the city to be a good and fair citizen. But doing more than that, making sure that we're also contributing to the development and life of the city.
Most universities across the country are exempt of paying general rates, but UTAS has agreed to spend on Hobart facilities as it gradually moves into the CBD. The 10-year funding plan aiming to improve infrastructure to accommodate this transition.
It is paying the equivalent of rates, which is about $350,000 indexed over the decade.
So that might include a contribution towards widening footpaths or improving footpaths, towards bike lanes, perhaps towards street trees, because this is a deal that we want to ensure is in the public interest.
But as the university also moves into Launceston City, talks of a similar deal remain unclear.
What we want to do, should the university, which we hope they will, continue to expand up here and especially into our CBD with residential buildings, and we'd obviously expect to be able to get rates for those buildings as well.
Well, we're not taking over any of the kind of properties that would otherwise be rateable, so it's a very different situation in Launceston.
With the expansion said to be critical for the city.
With the university moving closer to the city and developing and growing what they're doing in our city, so we want to be known as a university city, and this is the process that we're in now, and it's exciting and it's something very important for our future.
The partnership is expected to renegotiate annually throughout the 10 years. Ruby Kamain, 7 Tasmania News.
Authorities have urged Tasmanians to remain vigilant and look after their health tomorrow, with sweltering conditions set to hit the state. Temperatures are expected to reach the mid-30s with a maximum of 36 degrees predicted. With gusty winds, little rain and dry lightning on the way, fire crews are prepared for elevated fire danger, urging Tasmanians to keep watch for any flare-ups.
Most of the day the winds are going to be fairly light, but northwesterly winds will get a bit stronger later in the day, and as a result of that, with some fairly dry air over us as well, we can expect some elevated fire dangers for tomorrow.
We'll have a regional operations centre in place, we'll have strike teams, aircraft and ready to go to action when the time arises.
The fire service has declared a total fire ban for southern municipalities lasting 24 hours from 2 a.m. on Friday. A new addition to Tasmania's prison service has taken a step forward with a contractor selected to carry out the $70 million build. Touring the construction site today, Janssen Yuken will oversee the development of a new 140-bed southern remand centre. The Attorney-General says the facility will help reduce the overcrowding currently facing the prison system.
Challenges across Australia in relation to increased prison populations, and Tasmania is not immune from that increase either. So it addresses a number of issues.
The vast majority of the work will be undertaken and delivered by Tasmanian business and workers.
Construction will start in March and is set to be completed in 2021. New figures show Tasmania's unemployment rate has failed to budge and remains higher than the national average. There are also more questions on the security of major industries employing hundreds at Bell Bay.
Smiling for the cameras. One by one, community groups collect grant cheques from Rio Tinto in Georgetown. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. The company is reviewing its global operations, including its power bills from Hydro Tasmania. The Georgetown mayor is confident the smelter won't be closing.
My understanding is that Bell Bay Aluminium, for the most part, are very productive and quite a profitable organisation in their own right. They fill a unique niche. So I don't think that those scenarios are at this stage likely.
Hydro Tasmania and Rio are keeping tight-lipped about the talks, but analysts say giving Rio a price cut could lead to state budget pain.
We would expect the smelter to be using in the order of 20% of the state's total electricity consumption. So it's the number one biggest user of electricity in Tasmania.
Well, obviously we want to protect jobs in Tasmania. That is our primary concern.
It's been a nervous year in the north while locals wait the outcome of the Temco smelter review. Meanwhile, ABS figures out today show the state's unemployment rate is hovering at 6.1%, the same place as this time last year. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Learner drivers will receive some extra help at the wheel, with the state government extending funding for a mentor program by $1 million a year. It's hoping the initiative will help drive down deaths on our roads while also opening up opportunities for young people. Last year, almost 200 L-platers achieved their Ps through the program.
It supports more young people to get their job, to get their study, and to actually be able to progress along life's way.
The funding will help purchase new cars as well as support 180 mentors. A coastal hotspot is one step closer towards a $14 million upgrade. Today, the first sod was turned on a 21-kilometre pathway extension in Latrobe in an effort to improve safety for local residents.
It's a scenic thoroughfare shared between riders, runners and rev heads. But on his e-bike, Keith Price has seen the dangers firsthand.
Well, it's the most beautiful ride you can do, but there are elements of risk in it.
It's a sentiment shared throughout the local riding community. A recent survey found 60% refuse to pedal on roads without physical separation from vehicles.
We've had people using this roadway, unsafe as it is, for quite some time.
But now, after a 13-year push, a new coastal pathway between Latrobe, Devonport and surrounding communities hopes to make dodging traffic a thing of the past.
The whole region's crying out for it. I mean, we're seeing now population increases into Tasmania, twice the national average.
Today, the first sod was turned on stage 1 of the 20-kilometre track, which is expected to be complete by the end of 2021.
What this region really wants is for people to get off the Spirit, more people to get off the Spirit and spend time in our region instead of helping elsewhere, and this project will play a big part in that.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
Pedestrians and cyclists now have a safer passage through Lagana following the official opening of the town's revamped Main Street and Boulevard. The wider footpaths will also encourage local businesses to expand.
It certainly achieves the objectives of the master plan, and that is to create a town centre that will be conducive to community activity, and I think that's met the criteria very well.
The project cost $4.5 million. Tasmanian teachers have raised concerns about end-of-year student results, saying there have been delays and errors in their release. The Education Union and Labor say some students have received incorrect points and are worried about the integrity of the new system. But the government remains adamant the results have been released on time and there were no miscalculations.
As you can imagine, it's a real pressure time of the year for a lot of kids, sitting there waiting on that day to get those results and then opening them up to see not only where results are not given, but some people have failed their TCE.
The Education Minister said he has full faith in the assessment system. A special blend of wine inspired by the efforts of Tasmania's volunteer firefighters has raised almost $70,000 to give back to the service. The funds were handed over today with almost 8,000 bottles of Joseph Cromie Wildfire sold. The winemakers say they were inspired to create the product after watching crews work through the devastating blazes earlier this year.
We'll be able to put in an application for whatever they need, whether it's a little bit of extra gear, whether it's a couch where they can sit down in after a long day and relax.
When it affects the livelihood of our friends and colleagues, it really makes you appreciate that the efforts that the volunteers go to risk their lives and go out and help save property and lives.
The two wines are still available for customers to purchase. A hospital ward is never an ideal place to celebrate Christmas, but for those unable to go home this holiday season, Tasmanian nurses are spreading the festive cheer. Staff decorating the hospital halls as part of a friendly competition, all aimed at bringing the Christmas spirit to those who need it most.
The halls of the Royal Hobart Hospital transformed by the spirit of Christmas. Staff taking part in a decorating competition, aiming to spread festive cheer for those who can't celebrate at home.
It can be the saddest part of the year for some people. It just cheers them up. Yeah, coming into instead of looking at the white walls, they've got a little bit of decoration to look at.
Different areas of the hospital taking inspiration from different holiday themes, including gnomes and elf on the shelf. One ward choosing a serious message to tie in with its Australian Beach Christmas display.
Also, we are the cancer ward, so we've got sunscreen sitting around, just getting the message across flip, slop, slap, and staying safe over the Christmas festive period, really.
The idea intended to boost both staff and patient morale during the holiday season, with positive feedback all round.
The patients have been loving it. We've had one doctor who dressed up in an elf outfit for his whole clinic and was a clinic with kids, and they really loved it.
Staff at the Launceston General Hospital are also taking part in a ward decorating competition. Staff at both locations say that this is something that they look forward to every year.
We've already discussing plans for next year, and yeah, it's something we'd like to do again because we've had so much fun doing it.
Giving a little bit of Christmas cheer to those who need it most. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
In a bid to keep Tasmanians safe as they ring in the new year, Metro is offering cheaper bus fares. Metro buses will run a $2 night rider service from 6 p.m. December 31 for those in Hobart, Launceston and Burnie. People heading out are being encouraged to leave their car at home and make the most of the initiative.
New Year's Eve is a time to celebrate with your friends and your family, and we also want to ensure that the people get home safe on that night.
Last year Metro helped almost 5,500 Tasmanians make their way home safely from New Year's Eve festivities, and we'd love to see that number grow again this year.
Timetables and routes for the evening can be found on Metro's website.
Football Tasmania says it remains committed to one day having a local team play in the A-League. It comes as the 2020 NPL fixture is released, with the league returning to playing nearly all matches on Saturdays.
As the state edges closer to securing a spot in the NBL, Tasmanian soccer remains on the national sidelines. A local consortium was rejected last year in favour of new teams from Sydney and Melbourne. However, Football Tasmania says it and other investors are still interested.
Not only an A-League but a W-League and also a Youth League kind of age group, so that our best young players and indeed referees and coaches have that opportunity.
And while there's still a need for a rectangular stadium, the CEO says money isn't an issue.
There is financial backing and it doesn't rely on the taxpayer to support that in an ongoing sense.
The comments come as the governing body launched the 2020 NPL fixture. It follows a competition review undertaken earlier this year, which recommended a number of changes. Hobart-based sides will enter teams in the Southern Championship, mirroring a similar arrangement in the North. Many of those matches will be played before NPL fixtures, with up to 3 games being played at the one venue. And they'll be played almost exclusively on Saturdays, with kick-off times staggered across the day.
We consulted again on that aspect with the clubs and their preference was primarily to have Saturday fixtures.
The move has also freed up Sundays for the Women's League, with all matches barring Ulverston's home games to be played on that date.
Quite common across the country for female football to be on a Sunday, and it does maximise access to facilities.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Blaze Forth has taken out the $100,000 Conquering Stakes in Launceston. The John Blackett-trained gelding held off fancied rivals Mandela Effect, Twitchy Frank and Hell of a Street to claim victory.
Twitchy Frank, Blaze Forth finishing hard. Mandela Effect is flying. Blaze Forth. Blaze Forth has won the Conquering from a photo.
Blaze Forth was paying $26 to win, while earlier in the night, Adam Trinder's Mystical Pursuit won the 3-year-old trophy.
Good evening. Launceston's 29, the state's top today. Hobart 24 degrees, Burnie 27 and Devonport 22. Ouse registered 24 degrees today, Smithton 22, Friendly Beaches and Grove 21. Lowhead and Flinders Island 20, a bit cooler for St Helens and Lyawini 19 degrees and also for Strawn and King Island just 18 today. Some low cloud over the northeast of the state and an onshore flow and just some low-level cloud over the west of Tasmania. High-level cloud drifts over Victoria and southern New South Wales due to a front, some cloud with another front over Western Australia, more cloud over the far north. Tomorrow the high continues to be the main driver of our weather, but winds will build ahead of the next cold front. Surface troughs continue over the mainland. Easterly winds over the north increasing to 20 to 30 knots, northeast to northwest winds elsewhere at similar speeds but lighter inland. A gale warning has been issued from Wineglass Bay to South East Cape and from Sandy Cape to Stanley, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters, and we also have a fire weather warning for the South East, Upper Derwent Valley and Midlands districts. Very high fire danger applies. Hobart for tomorrow, 33, hot and partly cloudy. Same for Huonville, but one more, 34 degrees and 33 for Campania. Launceston 27 and partly cloudy, 22 for Devonport, Georgetown 24 degrees. All with similar weather, same for Burnie and 20, 31 the top for Strawn, maybe a late shower moving through, Wynyard 21 degrees. And for St Helens partly cloudy and 23, warming up to 28 over Swansea. Port Arthur a bit windy, partly cloudy and 24. And slip on some sun protective clothing with the UV and extreme 12 tomorrow. On Saturday, fine apart from a shower over the west and far south. Morning showers over the west on Sunday, otherwise fine again. And on Monday, showers over the southeast but mostly fine. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow, a hot day for Adelaide and 45 degrees. A sizzler for Melbourne. Smoke haze over Canberra, just 26 in Sydney though. Warm temperatures though for remaining centres. Hobart, partly cloudy and 17, 24 in Launceston right now and 22 in Devonport. Many people will be happy with the Christmas Day forecast. The early forecast is for fine, partly cloudy weather right across the state, apart from a shower over the west, and temperatures in the mid-20s right across Tasmania. And with the recent change in the weather, Joe, I've been finding it very hard falling asleep of a night. But then I moved closer to the edge of my bed and I soon dropped off.
Or your wife kicked you out, one or the other. Thank you very much for that, Merv. That's all from the team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you a little later with updates. Bye-bye.